Alright, I am making this video on the assumption that everyone ay nakapanood na ng debate, and I would like to give my quick insights and the nitty-gritty sa mga sitwasyon sa mga pinagsasabi ng ating mga apat na kandidato dito sa presidential interviews courtesy of Miss Jessica Soho. So first of all, let me address something that I've said sa stream kanina. It's about the no-show of Bongbong Marcos. Well, I think the no-showing of Bongbong Marcos much more favor to him than to the network, because despite no showing, Marcos still had the biggest trend in social media. Albeit it's a negative publicity, but pero publicity pa rin. And I think I can understand the guy. The guy has been in so much scrutiny na if he enters into a journalistic convention, I'm of Jessica Soho, he will answer the things that he keeps on rebutting for like what 20 years of his career. So yung mga issue sa kanya, tax evasion, ibabato sa kanya yun as drama dito sa debate na to. Then apart from the Bongbong Marcos drama, there's also the issue of his daddy dearest. And since Bongbong is in the spotlight, siya isasagot sa mga pinagagagawa ng ama niya. Now, I'm not defending Marcos. I'm the least political guy in the room, okay? I'm just here to observe, not to support. Okay. One thing na may mali kay Marcos is sinabi niya via si Miss Jessica Soho. Jessica Soho is what? A renowned journalist, and I think Jessica Soho and the GMA network are the last network that I see being biased. Nevertheless, the Filipinos always sees media companies, mainstream media companies run by oligarchs. So maybe Bongbong calling out Jessica Soho is a campaign strategy. I don't know about him. I'm still dubious about his educational background, but in terms of Bongbong no showing, it is not because he is a coward, because he has been answering the same old questions. Even in Tony Gonzaga, Tony Talks, he's been answering the same old questions about him and his family for years. And I think parang sawa na si Bongbong sagutin yun. Kaya dumating dito sa punto na tinanggihan niya. And kung andito siya, he will take up most of the screen time answering questions from his past and from his father. Then again, it's still a dick move kasi nawala siya sa interview, which puts him in a bad light. So, what is the difference? Why did he answer to Boy Abunda and not to Jessica? I think Jessica is more prone to asking the autocracies of his father than Boy Abunda himself, because Boy Abunda is a journalist, Boy Abunda is an entertainer. Case in point, that is my take. Now, let's go towards the debate or the interview. I like to keep this short and sweet. Some of my favorite moments in this interview is one, Lacson really studied. Siya yung parang kandidato na nag-aral. I mean, siya yung estudyante na nag-aral bago yung exam. I like Lacson's experience. Lacson is the most experienced presidential candidate. Don't take it against him. He's the most experienced. He ran for president and failed in 2004. Pero pag hindi siya tumakbo noong 2004, panalo na dapat si Fernando Po Jr. That's what I said. That's my take. And his answers are coherent. So coherent that it strays up to the fact na that there are common answers between the candidates and he has the different answer. Nonetheless, ginastify niya yung Coratong Baleleng and the Circo Vito. He justified why he escaped. So that's a bit of a sussy baka para sa akin. And I don't think those negative thoughts are good enough or something to be shed upon as president, but he did a great job answering the questions. What I'm surprised is he is favorable in legalization ng wedding. I'm also in favor of legalization of wedding, but considering the past, I think Lacson is the last person who wants wedding to be illegal due to his ties with Joseph Estrada. His West Philippine Sea is platform is good. I think all West Philippine Sea's platforms are good except for Pacquiao. We'll get to him in a minute. And if you think of it actually, his stand is more of the 30-ish in a formal, sensical manner. It's how would Duterte say in the 2016 debate, but it's more of a formal stand. And sa mga Pictionary icebreakers, yung magpapakita ng picture si Jessica Soho, sasabihin ni Lacson, first thought niya, he had given good answers. Sayang was trending in Twitter. Now, let's go forward for Miss Leni Robredo, the internet darling. Well, Leni Robredo did held on her own. I'm pretty sure Leni's answers are what you will answer in an impromptu interview. No offense, her answers were good, but it's like good enough for the interviewer to accept, if you get what I mean. They're not great. They're just good answers. Upon her controversial upon the controversies that she have been dealt with, lugaw, she tends to make it into a positive being, and that's what I like about Leni. She has that aura of eccentricity on her. Her answers are good, but it's not as good as Lacson because it tends to delve into the most obvious do good answers when in the grand scheme of things. Na yun. Sana ko na-disappoint kay Leni. Meron point doon sa social media, parang hahabulin ni Leni sino yung social media companies. And she has the same stand as Isco. First of all, sa social media companies, mahirapan kayo. US na nga, hirap patumbahin si Zuckerberg. Paano pa kaya tayo nahabulin pa si Zuckerberg sa Amerika, pas papadala siya dito? Ano, ibaban nyo Facebook dito sa Pilipinas? That's bad business. You will destroy investors. So, that's what I like about Lacson in this answer. He's straight off. It's more of information gathering than making the social media companies pay. Because, in the end, user yung gumagawa ng fake news, not the social media companies. Leni is respectful to the president. I can see it. I think she has been in a bad light recently. So yeah. What else am I going to talk about? This one. It's going to be interesting on the Iglesia ni Cristo vote. Yung boto namin. I'm pretty certain Bongbong Marcos is our presidential, but I keep seeing brethrens in the INC diverting their support away from Bongbong. And I think for the first time in this election, the unity of the Iglesia ni Cristo, my religion, is going to be challenged. Okay. And I think that's enough for Leni. I think she got most of the screen time, to be honest. I think she has that. And what the producers want is Leni has more exposure. And that's my observation. Like I said, I'm here to observe. Okay? Next is Isko. Isko's answer are more Duterte-ish. Like, I did this in Manila. There, Duterte-ish, Binay-ish, Davao, Makati. I did this in Manila. This will happen to the Philippines. And it comes to a point that it is straighting, it is going to the right answer, but it's so obvious that he wants to sound tough. Albeit his answers are good. I like his answer that he just wants to be a seaman or an actor if he loses his president. I like it that he connects himself with the poor. That gives him identity. I like that he stands with most of the candidates. No more political dynasties like that. And that is really transparent on Isco Moreno. Isco's problem is not his political will. We have seen that in his reign as Manila mayor. Ang problema kay Isco is he's too flamboyant that people tend to hate it. That he is so exposed to social media, ayaw with siya mga tao. And he got over into his head. I think even in this debate or interview, he considered China as a trade partner when he was shown the flag of China. And yeah, he had very interesting answers in terms of the foreign trades, especially foreign relations, especially with China. China as trade partner. Of course, he is defending his Dolomite Beach. When he was shown the picture of Dolomite Beach, syempre sasabihin niya view. Yeah. But I can see him working as president. I mean, his reflection of Manila is granted. But let me remind all of you that being mayor is different from being president. Mayor, you have the autonomy, the authority to your city. You are the executive and you are the legislative. Legislative by you are filing the ordinance. When you are president, you're only the executive. So he made his decision making is important, but his power is limited to the executive role. That is what Duterte's problem is. That's why Duterte wants all of the Senate to be majority of the Senate to be his, so he can have at least an arm on the head of the government. Because remember, we got executive, legislative, judiciary. We can't mess with judiciary because that will be a constitutional crisis. So what Dutz does is intervene with the legislative. And I think that would be Isko's problem if he becomes president. Okay, let's go with Pacquiao. The thing I remember about Pacquiao is he is against same-sex marriage. And when he was shown the flag of the Philippines, he just literally said, bandila ng Pilipinas. Good answer, Pacquiao. Yeah. Pacquiao's inexperience is really showing here. Tapos, yung kanyang mga basehan sa decisions is in the Bible. Look, natural law, divine law is fine and all. But we can't expect divine law being the law to be upheld dito sa if you're a president. Because that's what we INCs do. Yun yung autonomy namin. We enact God's law. But in the essence of it, God's law or the divine law has a saying to follow the government. So, civil law is supposed to be your basis. So, if you just skip civil law and just reenact divine law, there's no more decision making. Right? It's your, as president, you have to do the decision making. You have to be strong. And all I see from Pacquiao is stuttering when he's dealt with the big questions about tax evasion. And, ayun, he has some contradicting statements. Like, he doesn't like same-sex marriage, he's against LGBT community, but at the same time, he has LGBT supporters. So what does make your supporters be? Hypocrites? Ayun. Okay, so I think I made my summary statement sa nangyari sa presidential interview. Uh, Favorite moment, yeah, Lacson is wants to legalize wedding. I think he studied for this exam. If you want a natural, good answer, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Leni kind of pulled it off. Isco kind of pulled it off. Pacquiao, I'm sorry, man. I love you as a boxer, but this one ain't it, bro. This one ain't it. So, yeah. End the video. Oh, final closing notes. Yeah, you guys shit on Bongbong Marcos not showing up on the presidential interview, but you don't shit on Leody. Double standards much? Also, there shouldn't be any presidential interviews because technically you all of these candidates have prematurely campaigned, so they should have been disqualified. So Leody is supposed to be the president of the Philippines. Thank you. Good night. Okay, another take is what? There is a bonus question there. There's a question. What government form do they want? Presidential or parliamentary? I think it was Isko, Leni, and Lacson in favor presidential and Pacquiao in favor parliamentary. Uh, Here's the thing. Kasi ba't tuwing pag-uusapan yung government change, yung dalawa lang na sistema pinag-uusapan? Parliamentary, presidential, ayaw nyo ng monarkiya? Ha? Ayaw nyo ng Commonwealth? Or ako, sige, sabihan nyo ako na pula ako, pula. But I think being a commie is being dragged into a bad light. Commie isn't that bad. It's just that the leaders who happen to be commies are bad. That's why parang nasa-shine sa bad light naman. But if you have a good commie leader, I think you are more directive against true communism, and you will be having socialism. And I'm like an advocate of socialism, so forgive me if that triggers you. But all in all, I am sick and tired of having the debate which is better, presidential, parliamentary. What government form do you want? Presidential, parliamentary. Let's not try to limit our options into these two forms of government, okay? There are different types of government forms. You can answer totalitarian if you have the balls. So yeah, end the video.